Hey folks, it's Tom at FrugalPrepper. I am taking a walk this morning. It's about 7 in the morning. I normally like to take my walks before the sun comes up, but I slept a long time. I was at Kings Island yesterday from open to close riding roller coasters and just didn't really having fun. I think I'm going to go this way. Day before that, I cut the front yard and trimmed everything and did more garden planting and tilling and just had lots of fun. So just for those of you who are new to my channel, I used to weigh 458 pounds. I was on 250 units of basal Humulin U500 insulin per day. Took 35 to 45 units of insulin with each meal, Novolog fast acting. I had an endocrinologist, a gastroenterologist, a cardiologist, a nephrologist. Had high blood pressure. Had a knee that needed replacement. Had a torn rotator cuff. Diabetic ulcers. I felt like crap every day. I couldn't even think about going out and taking a walk. That's all I could do to get out of bed and get to the coffee pot. 4.5 years later, after being keto and now pretty much fully carnivore, I've lost 170 pounds. And I was on no prescription medication, but I've had a little bit of high sugars here lately. Not extremely high, and most of the time it's 100 before I eat, and it doesn't get over 135 after I eat. But every once in a while, it'll hit 160 or 180. So I'll take a metformin that day, and it'll come back down. So I still have more weight to lose. You know, I'm not all thin yet, but I'm definitely a lot healthier. When I was on all that insulin and I hit 458 pounds, I had an A1C come back of 14. I was having blood sugar readings. I was happy if I got below 300. A lot of times I hit 400s. I was very, very sick. And I knew I was going to die soon. And today I'm strong. My muscles are great. I feel great. I go on walks. I stay on my feet all day on the weekends working or riding coasters or walking back and forth across the amusement park. You know, yesterday I was there from open to close. I didn't ever stop walking. I sat down one time and took a break. And that was it. And that was like 5 minutes. And that was after we waited in a line for almost 2 hours to ride a ride. It kept breaking down and we were already in line, so we waited. I didn't used to like roller coasters. And then after I got on keto, I lost my first 50 pounds. I found that I could fit on a few of them. And I rode them. And now I love roller coasters. Roller coasters are something just fun to do. It's just, the higher, the faster, and the more times I go upside down, the better off. So I really enjoy it. I had someone, when I was talking about blood sugar in one of my other videos being a little high, told me that I didn't get enough exercise. And that's just not true. Yes, I work primarily a desk job from 8 to 5, but even that job has a lot of going out and carrying heavy equipment and computers across warehouses and stuff. So there's a fair amount of exercise in that job. But in the evenings and weekends, I'm a mobile mechanic. I get plenty of work, plenty of exercise. And then I go on walks like this, you know, which will probably be an hour-long walk. And then after I'm done with this, I have a fuel pump to put in a van. And this is a Monday, which is a holiday. So it's kind of nice that I get to do it. I guess a part of me, now that I'm getting healthier and I feel better, is saying I've been a network engineer for 30 years. I spent most of my time working behind computers and laptops. I don't know if I want to do that anymore. I want a job that has some physical activity to it. Because doing activity makes you feel good, you know. But I don't know. You know, I am a pretty good network engineer, pretty good at fixing computers, so I might just keep doing that. But yeah, so you know, I was working at a credit union. I was fat and sick. Not as fat as I was. I was around 400 pounds. You know, 380, 390, 400 there. And the credit union I worked for, just the health insurance kept getting crappier. They hadn't given me a raise in 4 or 5 years. And I got a job working for a hospital, Wilson Health in Sydney, Ohio. And I thought, you know, I had the interview and I was like, their IT director's on crack. He's a pretender, he doesn't know anything. But this job has good insurance. And I could use the good insurance. And I could finally see all those specialists that they're telling me to see. And I could finally get my health in order. Man, these trees need trims. And so I took that job. I got a new general practitioner doctor, some lady. And her only job was to refer me to all the specialists I needed. I got an endocrinologist, I got a gastroenterologist, I got a colonoscopy because I do have a colon cancer gene in my family. And I just got everything that I needed. All kinds of ologists, cardiologists, nephrologists, gastroenterologists. I went and saw multiple nutritionists, diabetic nutritionists. They told me to eat mostly whole grain carbohydrates with a little bit of lean meat, you know, make some lentil soups, gave me all kinds of recipes. And that stuff made me sicker. And so I got going on more and more insulin and more powerful insulins. The U500's a concentrated insulin, so you can take more and fit it in a single syringe. And I kept feeling worse. I kept getting fatter. And I was at the point where I was just like, I'm gonna have to go out on disability or something, man. I just cannot get up and walk into work anymore at 458 pounds, severely diabetic, severely high blood pressure. So I found a video from Dr. Barry. He did it with one of the gun guys I used to watch. Can't remember his name. He was a really healthy, like, muscular dude. And I then went to Dr. Barry's channel and started watching more of his videos. And he was pretty much just keto back then, not so much carnivore. And so I did it. And in 3 days, I had to quit taking my insulin because I was getting low blood sugars. And in a few weeks, I was having normal blood sugars. I was still on the metformin, still on my blood pressure. But just over time, 5 of those blood pressure medications just went away. And all of the insulin went away. And all the metformin went away. And I've tried every diabetic shot that there is. The Byettas, the stuff that you inject, and pills that you take. They all have nasty, nasty side effects. So, you know, it was kind of crazy. And I just did what I did, you know, trying to figure out what medication I needed. But the truth was, I just needed to stop listening to what everybody was telling me to eat. 20 years ago, somebody had told me, just eat beef. I would have done it. I mean, I did improve my diabetes. I fasted once for 90 days, lost 85 pounds. I still had diet soda, but that was it. I didn't eat anything. And my diabetes got better. Get my Prepper gel out here because there is a rather mean barking dog back here somewhere. I think he's locked in his backyard, but I would rather not have to shoot him if he does come out. But yeah, so if they would have just told me you just need to eat meat, I would have went through years and years of not having to deal with diabetes, not getting fatter. I was about 250 pounds when I found out I was diabetic. And then I lost some weight, fasting, became non-diabetic. Then I got married, started eating pasta again, became diabetic all over again. And it's just gone back and forth like that. I mean, I've always known that watching the carbohydrates seems to help. But you just don't know how much. You know, I always thought that carbohydrates were something that you needed, right? Like, you had to have carbohydrates in order to live. But I found out that you don't actually need carbohydrates. I did Atkins before I became diabetic and lost some weight. But Atkins was always like a temporary thing. Like, you still have to have vegetables and carbs, and you need those things to live. But I found out that you don't need those things to live. You can actually just eat meat for your entire life and be plenty healthy. And you'll feel like going out in the mornings and taking walks. You'll feel like going out and seeing the neighborhood and listening to the birds and seeing the sunrise. And you'll feel like doing that before anybody else even gets out of bed on a holiday. So I really enjoy it, you know. I enjoy just slowing down and walking and looking at things. I enjoy going and riding coasters with my family. I enjoy life again. And the thing is, I think I'm going to live long enough that I'm going to get to retire one day. I'm going to get to use that 401k. I'm going to get to go all over the country when I'm retired and ride new coasters. And I'll probably still fix a few cars now and then, because I find that fun. Problem with fixing cars for a living, though, is the whole flat rate system. The whole you're making a shop money but you're not getting paid crap doesn't work for me. I would have to do it full time for myself as I do now. I run it as an actual business. I pay sales taxes. I pay insurance. I pay income taxes. I have garage keepers insurance. So I pay all those expenses, but I get to keep 100% of the money. And if I have one that I misdiagnose or that I mess up, I don't have to worry too much about that. Got a couple of little doggies out walking around in the street down here. Some little ankle biters. But, you know, I don't have to worry too much about that. I just make a little less on that job. I'm not pulling down $15 an hour in profit, you know. I'm pulling down $100 an hour. So I do like that idea. So I think probably what I'll do is look at retiring sometime in the next 7 to 10 years and just doing YouTube, enjoying life, riding coasters, and fixing some cars. And as far as the health insurance, I don't really care about that. I haven't been to a doctor in forever. My doctor dropped me. My doctor dropped me for being a non-compliant patient. I wasn't eating enough. lost 170 pounds. I'm getting healthy and I don't have to take his medications anymore. I'm not making him any money. I am the guy that actually figured it out, not the guy that's keeping his Porsche payments going. So he dropped me. I am probably going to have to go and see another doctor eventually, just trying to find one that's pro keto or pro carnivore, or understands what's going on and won't tell me you need to eat a balanced diet. It's hard. As far as like doctors, when I went to the hospital because I hurt my knee, I drove a 3/8 impact chisel bit into my knee a couple years ago. It all healed up fine, but it hurt. They're like, oh, what kind of diet are you on? I'm like, really? They're asking me that? It's crazy. Because no doctors hardly ever ask you that. I'm like, I'm on a modified paleo diet. They don't know what that is, and it sounds okay. So they'll go ahead and do it. Oh, I got a dog. I got 2 dogs following me. You guys need to go back home. You need to go back home. You're not following me. Hopefully they're not lost or strays. I'm sure they live around here somewhere. But yeah, so you tell them something like that and then they just don't argue with you, like, oh yeah, that sounds healthy, and my modified paleo diet is just meat. Of course at that time it was more of a keto, and so I went through a time with keto there at the end where I just kind of hit this phase where I didn't lose anything and my sugar started to come back up. And what I was doing is, you go to the grocery store now and you're like, oh, they have keto bread and they have keto cookies and keto this and keto that. And so I started trying some of those things and eating them. And it started out like, well, once a week I'll make myself a grilled cheese sandwich. And it turned into like 3 times a day. And I was getting addicted to these fake keto foods like I was addicted to food before. So I had to cut all that out and throw all that stuff away, and I just went pure carnivore. And now I find that I just don't really crave the carbohydrates at all. And I only eat about once a day, sometimes twice a day. I went ahead and I had a little bit of a leg cramp this morning. So I went ahead and had some potassium on some meat and ate that this morning. And that just was from walking around all day yesterday. I didn't have very much to drink either, because there was lines at all the stands just to get in and get some water, because the only thing they have without sugar is stuff with artificial sweetener, which I try to avoid. So I just wasn't waiting in line to get water, so I didn't drink very much, and I think I was a little dehydrated when I left, which might have something to do with the leg cramps. But once in a while I get a little bit of a leg cramp. I take potassium, magnesium, and salt. I normally eat plenty of salt. As you can tell, we could use a good muffler shop in this town. But you just eat. You just eat. I think this walk's going to be more like 25 minutes, but I'm starting later than usual. Normally I go down another block rather than cut across right there, but I got to get back and get this fuel pump put in, get that done today. So, and the sun's already up. But so yeah, so the guy that came on and left a comment about, oh, you need to get more exercise. I get plenty. I probably exercise more than most people. In fact, even when I was fat and diabetic, I still gardened. I still fixed cars. I still worked a lot. It's more painful, and I had to take more breaks. But I never had an exercise problem. The whole eat less and move more thing is just a fallacy. Eat the right things, and it doesn't matter if you move, you'll lose weight anyway. But as you lose the weight and get healthier, you'll want to move more. It's just how it is. So, you know, you get healthy. There's somebody throwing away a TV. And they're throwing away a TV right there. That's something else. I mean, I do have a television, but it currently holds some clothes that are thrown over it, and it hasn't been turned on ever. My son used to have a Nintendo Switch that he hooked to it, but now he just plays the Switch directly. But I don't watch TV, you know. I've never, since I've been keto anyway, really before that. There was a time when I watched TV all day, all night, all weekend, you know, did nothing else. But these days I find TV stupid. I do watch some YouTube, but a lot of times I watch YouTube as I'm working on my phone or in the background doing something else. I do watch some Amazon Prime, some Star Trek occasionally. But really, as far as just sitting around watching television, like big screen TV, waste of money for me. In fact, the one I got, I need to just sell it. Make some money off of it. Because I'm busy, you know. That's the other good thing about carnivore, is you don't have to think about eating. You just occasionally get hungry about once a day, and you go throw some steaks on the grill for about 5 or 10 minutes, and you eat them in 5 minutes, and then you can go back to doing what you were doing. People like chefs, restaurants, completely useless to me. So you might think like carnivore is expensive. It's actually cheaper because you only eat once a day. And you can buy a steak on sale normally $5 a pound, and you stock up on it. And you might eat $6 or $7 worth, you know, $8 worth. If you're really hungry, $12 worth, you know. But that's all you eat for the whole day. There's no stopping at the gas station and getting snacks and sugary drinks. There's no stopping at Rallies and getting hamburgers. There's no getting fries. There's no snacks. There's no fruit. There's none of that. It's somewhere between $7 to $12 a day, and you're set. It's simple. It's easy. It's time saving, and you really crave it. Oh, looky there. There's like a book, a loan a book thing. Oh, this is a developmental disabilities, Clark County. I think I did some computers for them one time, like 12 years ago. I did some networking for them. But yeah, so I just don't normally cut back this way. I normally go down a couple more blocks and then walk back that way. So I don't normally walk around. So this is like my first time coming up this way. And now we're going uphill. But yeah, you just eat, and you don't really focus or care about food. You see other people eating food, like, you know, work. They brought in like all these red, white, and blue cupcakes, red, white, and blue chocolate covered pretzels, and candy and snacks and sugar. And they're like, oh, there's free snacks for Memorial Day on the table. It's out this email. I'm like, you people are always complaining about how much our health insurance costs and goes up, and you're buying people sugar. You're buying people the most unhealthy thing they could possibly eat that's going to cause them to have to go on long-term medication. It's crazy. It's crazy. They buy us donuts. Never any beef jerky. Never any hamburgers. I mean, they do make hamburgers sometimes, but they always have big buns with them. I always tear my bun off, but you know, you're better off to make us no food, bring us nothing, keep us healthy, keep us from eating all that sugar that's killing us. and causing our health insurance, because we're self-insured this year. So everything every medical cost you have comes directly out of the company's pocket. So, better off not to buy the donuts. At least you keep people from eating them then. You won't stop them at home, but, most people just don't realize it. Most people are still believing all this crap that they invented in the 70s and 80s. Saturated fat's bad for you. Saturated fat is incredible for you. It makes you feel so good. It gives you so much energy. You can just, if I wanted to, I could keep walking like this all day. I'd never run out of energy. I'd never get a tired muscle. It's amazing. So, if you're sick like I was, and you feel like crap, and you feel like you're gonna die soon, and you're on all kinds of insulin, having all kinds of problems, just eat meat. Just stop eating carbohydrates and eat meat. At first you'll eat it 3 or 4 times a day because you'll be hungry. That eventually stops. You get fat adapted, and you're like, oh, I'm not hungry, I'm not eating this morning. And you just go on. You go through life, and you start to lose weight, and things start to heal, and you get metabolically healthy, which is just really great. It's really great. So anyway, I'm coming back up to my house here. So it's about a half-hour walk by the time I get back. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.